Hello friends, today we are going to discuss a unique topic, that is the discovery of blood circulation and the contributions from Ayurveda that have gone unrecognized in the field of history of discovery of blood circulation. And as we all know, this is the scheme of blood circulation in human beings. The blood, initially the deoxygenated blood from the superior and inferior vena cava, it enters the right atrium, and from then there onwards it gets into the right ventricle, which pumps the blood into the pulmonary trunk, which gets into lungs, and in the lungs it gets oxygenated. The oxygenated blood then re-enters the left atrium and then into left ventricle, and when the left ventricle pumps the blood, it gets into the aorta and finally gets distributed all over the body. And this is how the blood circulates, and the same amount of blood keeps circulating in the body from the arterial compartment to the venous compartment because of the pressure gradient, and the connections between the arterial compartment and venous compartment are called capillaries, and that is how the circuit is complete. Now, how this knowledge came into existence and how this knowledge was discovered, or how this information came to the fore, this is what we are going to discuss, and we will also discuss the important contributions from Ayurveda that have gone unrecognized. We will also discuss why these contributions from Ayurveda literature have gone unnoticed. So, beginning of the history of the discovery of blood circulation starts with Egyptian physicians around 1500 BC, who described the arterial pulse, its character and force in understanding the health. The role of arterial pulse, its character and its force in understanding the health. Then comes Hippocrates. He in between 460 BC and 370 BC, he gave a clear description of the ventricles, the blood vessels, and also possibly recognizing the difference between the arteries and veins and the semilunar valves. All this explanation is found in his writings. He also does recognize the property of the valves that allow for only unidirectional flow. All this is found in Hippocrates and his writings. The next is Aristotle. He described that the heart was central, mobile, and well supplied with the structures which served to communicate between it and the rest of the body. However, his understanding had some errors. According to him, the heart had 3 chambers, and there were 2 significant vessels connected to it, the vena cava and the aorta. The right chamber had the hottest blood and the most abundant blood, whereas the left chamber had the coldest blood and the least abundant. And according to him, the middle chamber had the purest and thinnest blood in the body and of a medium quantity. So these were some of the errors that were present in his understanding about the physiology of circulation. Then comes Erasistratus. According to him, the air which is inhaled from the lungs, it passed into the pulmonary veins, and from pulmonary veins into the left ventricle, and from the left ventricle it passed into the arteries, which distributed to all parts of the body. So according to him, the air that we breathe, it got into the blood directly through the pulmonary veins, and it was pumped through the arteries throughout the body. So the error was that he proposed the existence of 2 systems, one that carried air and the other that contained blood. So the arterial system, the name artery actually comes from the air, because he thought that arteries, they carried air. So that was one system which carried air, and the other system, that is venous system or sanguiferous system, which according to him carried the blood. This was the error. Then comes Claudius Galan. He is considered as the father figure in the history of medicine, especially from the Greek history point of view. He stated that arteries contain blood, not air, rather not only air, because he was a physician who used to treat the gladiators, and he used to he used to witness several people who were injured and arteries were punctured during the fights, and that is why he could observe that arteries actually carried blood, not only the air. So he proposed that the chyle was carried by veins into the liver, and then it was converted into blood in the liver. So the liver added the natural spirit to the blood, according to Galan. The veins that originated in the liver carried the blood to all peripheral parts of the body. The vital spirit, also known as pneuma, was derived through the act of respiration and was mixed with the blood in the left ventricle, and a portion passed through the septal pores into the venous blood of the right ventricle. So he modified whatever was proposed by Erasistratus, saying that no, there occurs some mixing of blood between the two ventricles. Because of this mixture, he proposed that the interventricular septum was porous. So in this way, he assumed that arteries also contain blood, not only the air, because there is a mixture. Then comes Ibn al-Nafis, who stated that the interventricular septum was not porous, and also he proposed the existence of pulmonary circulation, but he did not know about the greater circulation. Then Leonardo da Vinci, he established through experiments that air doesn't enter the heart from the lungs. He was the first person to establish that the air did not enter the heart through the lungs, and he also proved conclusively that the valves allowed the blood to pass in only one direction and prevented its regurgitation. But the problem with his understanding was that he believed that the interventricular septum allowed the passage of contents between the two ventricles. So interventricular septum was porous even according to Leonardo da Vinci. Then Andreas Vesalius, he explained that interventricular septum was not perforated. So he was the one who said clearly that interventricular septum was not perforated, and he maintained that the veins carried the blood towards the periphery. Again, this was the problem with his understanding. Then comes Michael Servetus, who described the pulmonary circulation independently, but he did not know about the greater circulation. Then comes Realdus Columbus. He independently discovered the pulmonary circulation once again. He also discovered that the heart's 4 valves permitted flow of blood in only one direction. But the problem with his understanding was that he believed that the veins originated in the liver and conveyed blood to the periphery. Then comes Andreas Cisalpinus. He described the passage of blood from the right heart through the lungs to the left heart and used the term circulation for the first time to describe this process, and believed that the interventricular septum was perforated again. This was the error in his understanding. In 1574, Fabricius, he discovered the valves in the veins and noticed that these valves opposed the movement of blood from the heart. However, he did not know about the circulation. So, till William Harvey in 1628 explained the complete process of circulation, these were the bits and pieces of information that were available, and we can summarize that there were 3 major errors that were there in the existing knowledge before William Harvey. So one information or one misunderstanding was that the veins carried the blood from the heart towards the periphery. This is one important fault. Second fault was that they assumed that the interventricular septum was porous. The third one was that the arteries, they carried the air also, along with blood maybe, or maybe independently only air. So these were 2 or 3 important misconceptions that were present. Along with that, there was one more important misconception which was prevalent, and it was that the food one consumed got converted into blood, and blood got converted into flesh, and that is how the blood was consumed, not conserved. Now we know that the same amount of blood gets circulating, keeps repeating keeps circulating in itself, and it is preserved or conserved. But till William Harvey explained the circulation, it was believed that the blood got converted into flesh and then it got consumed. So for the new blood to be formed, the person or individual had to take food. So food got converted into blood in the form of, first in the form of chyle, and then this chyle got converted into blood, and blood got converted into flesh, and that is how it got consumed. So these were certain major errors that were present till William Harvey published his book or essay in the form of De Motu Cordis, where he performed several experiments, and also through some mathematical modeling, he explained that actually the blood is not consumed, but it is conserved, and it kept circulating in the body, and he explained the pulmonary circulation and the greater circulation in a very comprehensive manner. Of course, he did not know the existence of capillaries because he did not have access to the microscope. So the actual picture of circulation got complete when Marcello Malpighi in 1661 established the presence of capillaries with the help of microscope. But William Harvey also had suggested the presence of capillaries because he knew about the circulation, and he assumed, or he proposed, that there has to be some connection between the arterial system and venous system. So Marcello Malpighi hypothesized that capillaries were the connections between the arteries and veins that allowed the blood to flow back to the heart, thus completing the gap in the knowledge of circulation. Now, if you go through the history of discovery of blood circulation, these are the major contributions that have been recorded in the history. And surprisingly, no Ayurveda literature finds its mentioning in most of the standard textbooks or standard resources related to the history of discovery of blood circulation. Now, what is the reason? There were some important insights which have been recorded in various Ayurveda compendia like Charaka Samhita, Sushruta Samhita, Bhela Samhita, and so on, which are related to blood circulation. Of course, they might not have had the complete knowledge of blood circulation, but still their insights were crucial and very important. But these insights have never been mentioned in the history of the discovery of blood circulation. As long as my understanding goes, there are two reasons for this omission. One is that the incorrect and improper translations of Ayurvedic textbooks into English. So most of the translators, they translated Ayurvedic terminologies into English, keeping the ancient Greek medicine in their mind. For example, the translation of Vata, Pitta and Kapha into wind, bile and phlegm. This is directly taken from the ancient Greek medicine, and that is how it doesn't fit with Vata, Pitta, Kapha. Similarly, Rasa being translated as chyle doesn't justify what is actually Rasa. Similarly, Rakta cannot be translated as blood in every context. The contextual considerations have not been taken while doing this translation. Similarly, most of the historians, they looked at Ayurveda through the lens of ancient Greek medicine. They thought that most of the concepts were very, very similar. For instance, the liver converting rasa into rakta. So rasa got into liver, and in the liver and spleen, as per Ayurveda, it got converted into rakta. Similarly, rakta getting converted into mamsa, so which is similar to blood getting converted into flesh. So these similarities were the reasons why most of the other important contributions of Ayurveda went completely ignored and unrecorded. So I would like to highlight a few important references from Ayurvedic literature which are crucial and which give some important insights related to the blood circulation. So let me tell you that the concept of blood circulation or circulatory system in Ayurveda, it mostly is covered under Rasavaha Srotas, not under Raktavaha Srotas. Most of the translators, they have committed this error of translating Raktavaha Srotas as circulatory system. No, Raktavaha Srotas is mainly hemopartic system, whereas Rasavaha Srotas is mostly the circulatory system. So if you want to study the cardiovascular physiology in Ayurveda, then you need to go into the Rasavaha Srotas, and then only you will find several important references. So one of these references is Rasavahanam Srotasam Hridayam Moolam Dashacha Dhamanyah. So the system that is responsible for the transportation of Rasadhatu, it originates in the Hridaya, that is heart, and Dasha Chadhamanyah, 10 great blood vessels. So 10 great blood vessels are attached to the heart, and this is the site of origin of the system that carries rasa. Second explanation is that Vyanena rasadhaturhi vikshepochita karmana yugapat sarvato ajastram dehe vikshipyate sada. So this is again from Charaka Samhita, where he states that Vyana Vayu is the force that makes the ejection of rasa from the Hridaya possible. Vyanena rasadhaturhi, because Vyana Vayu, its major site of action is Hridaya, and its function is to propel the rasadhatu. So vikshepochita karmana, it propels the rasa out of the heart, and then yugapat, sarvato, yugapat, that is simultaneously sarvato, throughout the body, ajastram, of course, the entire body, and vikshipyate, dehe. Vikshipyate is spreads, it causes the spreading of this rasa, sada, continuously, always, repetitively. So this is an important reference in Charaka Samhita. While explaining what is rasa, one interesting comment has been documented by Chakrapani on Charaka Samhita. He says that 𝐻𝐿𝐴 rasati iti raso dravadhatu uchyate tena rudhiradinam api dravanam grahanam bhavati. And this is a very important reference, because here it says that rasa is nothing but a term that is used to describe all the fluids that flow in the body. And obviously this includes the blood also. 𝐻𝐿𝐴 rasati iti raso dravadhatu uchyate. The fluids that flow in the body are termed rasa. Tena, with the term rasa, rudhiradinam api dravanam, all the fluids including rudhira or blood also are included under the umbrella term, that is rasa. So this is a very important reference which has been neglected by most of the historians, and that gives a hint that in Ayurveda the blood is not considered as rakta, rather the blood is a combined entity which is a combination of rasa, rakta, oja, and also maybe prana. So these are at least four entities that make up what is called blood. So blood cannot be simply translated as rasa or rakta or whatever. So all the combination of rasa, rakta, oja, and prana, this makes up what is called blood. And this understanding we need to have to be able to interpret the Ayurvedic references properly. So santatya bhojadhatunam parivrittistu chakravat. This is another reference from Charaka Samhita. He says that the dhatus get converted into one another or nourished in a cyclical fashion. So chakravat, the term circle or chakra, wheel, has been used maybe for the first time in Charaka Samhita to explain the nourishment of the tissues. Dhmanat dhamanyah, sravanat srotamsi, saranat siraha. So three types of blood vessels have been described by Charaka Samhita also. Dhmanat dhamanya, dhmana is pulsatile fashion of working. So pulsatile blood vessels are called dhamanyah. Sravanat srotamsi, sravana is oozing out. So the blood or the vessels where the fluids get exchanged, so exchange zone, has been termed as srotamsi. And then saranat siraha, sarana is to simply flow. So the veins have been considered as sira. Of course, this is a contextual meaning. Sometimes there is overlapping between the terminologies that we need to consider. Then tadvishuddham hi rudhiram balavarna sukhayusha yunakti praninam pranaha shonitam hi anuvartate. This is again from Charaka Samhita, where he says that vishuddham hi rudhiram, the pure blood, balavarna sukhayusha, it leads to the good complexion, good immunity, good strength, and also the happiness and long life. And even yunakti praninam pranaha shonitam hi anuvartate, even the prana flows or gets circulated or gets carried in the body along with the shonita. Shonita is blood again, so rakta. So prana travels in the body along with the rakta. This is again another important insight. So that is why I said that even prana is a part of blood along with rasa and rakta. Hrido raso nissarati tasmadeti cha sarvasha sirabhi hridayam vaiti tasmat hrid prabhavaha siraha. This is from Bhela Samhita. This is a very important reference which gives a very clear idea of greater circulation. He says that hrido raso nissarati, the rasa gets out of the hridaya. Hrido raso nissarati, gets out of the hridaya. Tasmadeti cha sarvashaha, from there onwards it gets spread in the entire body. Tasmadeti cha sarvashaha, entire body. It spreads in all parts of the body. Then sirabhihi, through the blood vessels known as sira, hridayam vaiti, it once again reaches the hridaya, re-enters the hridaya through the sira. And therefore the sira, the vessels termed as siras, can be assumed to have originated in the hridaya itself, because it is ultimately the same circuit. This is the beautiful reference which we find in Bhela Samhita. Sa rasa shabdarchir jalasantanvat anuna visheshena anudhavati evam shariram kevalam. This is from Sushruta Samhita. So rasa dhatu or rasa spreads in the entire body in a fashion which is similar to this spread of shabda, that is sound, archi, the fire, and jala, the water. So what he means is that the movement of rasa dhatu in the body doesn't occur in a constant manner. Rather, it varies, especially the velocity. Possibly he is indicating at the mean flow velocity, which is maximum in the aorta, and as you go towards the capillaries, it goes on getting reduced. So it is least in the capillaries, and that is how he has explained that shabda, which is in among the three analogies, sound travels with the highest velocity. Then comes the spreading of the fire in the maybe forest. It is based basically on the wind velocity, which is definitely lower than the velocity of the sound. Then comes the water in the river, possibly. So its velocity is even lesser than that. So this comparison is indicative of the understanding that the movement of the blood doesn't occur at a same speed or same velocity. Rather, it goes on varying. This is again another important insight. Aharasya samyak parinatasya yah tejobhutah saraha parama sukshmaha sa rasa ityuchyate. So what is rasa? Sushruta has given this reference, saying that aharasya samyak parinatasya, the food that one consumes undergoes the complete digestion, and when it gets completely digested through the action of agni or digestive entities, it gets converted into sara or essence, the absorbable portion, and parama sukshmaha, it is minutest fraction, and this is called rasa. Tasya hridayam sthanam. See, this rasa, after the absorption, gets into the heart. See, the movement of rasa towards the heart has been mentioned in this reference also. Tasya hridayam sthanam. Sa hridayat chaturvimshati dhamanihi anupravishya. Then it enters into the different 24 types of different dhamanis or blood vessels. Urdhvakadasha, 10 go upwards. Dashacha adhogaminyaha, 10 go downwards. And chatasrascha tiryagaha, 4 run in different other directions. And krishnam shariram, this rasa travels all over the body. Ahar ahaha tarpayati, day and night, or day to day, every day, it nourishes, vardhayati, causes the growth of the body, dharayati, it sustains the body, yapayati, it maintains the body, cha adrishta hetukena karmana. So these are the functions of rasa dhatu, and rasa is said to be being pumped out of the hridaya, and ultimately it originates in the gut after the complete digestion of the food. Another reference from Sushruta Samhita says that Krishna Dehacharo Vyano Rasa Sammahanodhyataha. So Vyana Vayu is responsible for the movement of rasa, and Vyana Vayu is present all over the body. So it is responsible for rasa, which is Vyana Vayu in this context may be similar to the autonomic control of the circulation, because Vayu in most of the occasions it stands for, or it is mostly representative of the nervous regulation in most of the contexts. Dashamula siraha hristhaha sarvam sarvato vapuhu rasatmakam vahanti ojaha tannibaddhami cheshtitam. This is from Ashtanga Hridaya, where he says that rasatmakam vahanti ojaha. So ojas is also rasatmaka. Ojas also circulates along with rasa. Dashamula siraha hristhaha. There are 10 basic blood vessels which are situated in the Hridaya, and they carry this rasatmaka ojas into the entire body, I mean different body parts, sarvam sarvato vapuhu, throughout the body. And tannibaddhami cheshtitam, that is again a very important factor that determines the life. Sthula mulaha susukshmagraha patra rekha pratanavat vidyante taha tatha saptashatanya asam bhavanti tu. He says that there are the sthula mulaha susukshmagraha, the blood vessels, the pattern of blood vessels. It is similar to the patra rekha pratanavat, the venations present in the leaves. The thicker veins, they go on dividing into smaller and smaller branches. Similarly, the blood vessels in the body, the bigger blood vessels, they go on getting divided into smaller ones and so on. So again, this is a very good informative simile or analogy that has been given. Rasastu hridayam yati samana maruteritaha. Again, another reference which states that samana vayu is responsible for the movement of rasa dhatu towards the hridaya. So Vyana Vayu pumps the rasa dhatu from the hridaya, that is, it possibly regulates the cardiac output, whereas the venous return is possibly governed by the samana vayu. This is from Sharngadhara Samhita. Karasya angushtamule yadhamani jivasakshini tacheshtaya sukham dukkham jneyam kayasya panditaihi. Again, in Sharngadhara Samhita, it is mentioned that Karasya angushtamule, at the root of the thumb, the dhamani, the artery, that reflects the life process, and after examining that, the movements of that artery, one can understand the health and disease of the person. So this is again indicative of the arterial pulse. So all this we have described in one of our papers that has been published in a journal called Advances in Physiology Education in 2012, and the title of this paper is The History of Discovery of Blood Circulation, Unrecognized Contributions of Ayurveda Masters, where we have also given different tables that describe the different contributions of Charaka Samhita, Sushruta Samhita, Vagbhata, Sharngadhara and so on. Those who are interested in further reading can go through this paper, and this is the scheme of circulation as has been presented by using the Ayurvedic references. You can go through this, which is also there in the said paper, and these are the major references that have been considered while writing this paper. With this, I thank you for giving kind attention to this talk. Thank you.